All right, am I on?
I saw that. Why?
I think I'm on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Steve Samuel from Design Visionaries, and today I'd like to show some industrial design surfacing. And the key thing about industrial design surfacing is getting things to be smooth and nice, and using the techniques that will allow us to do G3 curvature continuity curves. And in order to show the techniques, I'm going to start with a brand new part file, and I'm going to take you through every last little step so that you know exactly how to do all of this. I'm going to have a background that's white, and I'm going to have a nice little
No, no, no. It says waiting for design visionary, so you have to do something.
sign into chat, send,
Oh, she texted,
what is it?
but see, it says waiting for design visionaries.
Oh,
Can you
start
expand it?
recording.
Maybe.
Scene. Start recording, stop streaming. Scene transitions, stream element
Oh,
live
now
support.
it started.
Okay. Can you see me? Hello, everyone. Am I on?
Yeah.
Hello, this is Steve Samuel from Design Visionaries, and today I have the pleasure of going through some surface techniques that I think are amazing and really powerful. And it's an industrial design talk because with industrial design, it's really important that you're able to create surfaces that are smooth and good looking. And so you can see these blends here are not just regular blends, and the blending from this oval shape to this square shape is really smooth as glass. And so these are the kinds of things that we think about when we're doing industrial design. And so to show you the various techniques, I am going to be turning the model back in time and building it from scratch. So in order to turn the model back in time, I'm going to go to the current switch like that and show you that there is a simple sketch on the XY plane. And the XY plane is a nice way to start. It's a nice place to start. Let me just get out of here for a second. Hold on. Let's go to a different shading method. Okay. All right. Close enough. So what I'm starting with is a simple sketch that is 30 by 30. It's on the XY plane. And I'm going to extrude that. And I extrude it down with a extrude method that is sheet body. So it's a sheet body. And you'll see why I do that in just a moment. Now, let's see. Let's just bear with me for a second. Let's get that off of there. Just want to do this. There we go. So now the very next thing to do is to make a datum plane. And the datum plane is 50 millimeters offset from the XZ plane. That's very, very simple to do. You just go to the modeling tool and you go to datum plane. You leave it on inferred and you select the, in this case, the XZ plane, and you get a 50 millimeter datum plane. Great. The very next thing I did was a sketch. It is a simple sketch that is on that datum plane that's 50 millimeters away from the center. And what I used was an ellipse, an elliptical sketch. When you do an ellipse, incidentally, you do have to constrain the ellipse. See, there's a little constraint, or there's a little degree of freedom in the center of an ellipse, so it can turn and twist. So if you're not careful, it'll do that. So you want to put a horizontal constraint on the ellipse, just like that. And then I put a point on curve, and I set it up right in the center. And then I put these two lines in. And those lines will serve a purpose that will become obvious in just a moment. So let's bring back the whole thing. As you can see, with that ellipse, these lines go through the center, and they're 110 millimeters angled to each other, and so that's good. Now, in order to just make this little talk more exciting, I'm deleting everything else that I did, and I'm going to do the whole thing over from scratch. So all I've done so far is 2 sketches, this extrude and 2 sketches in a datum plane. Okay, great. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect this corner with this part of the sketch, that corner with that part of the sketch. And so I'm going to go to the extrude command, and in extrude command there is a, in the curve rule, when you say single curve or connected curves, you have an option here called stop at intersections. Stop at intersections, amazing, because what it does is it selects just the pieces of a sketch that are uninterrupted. And so I'm going to make a 40 millimeter face, an individual face. I'm going to apply that. I'm going to do it again here, apply that, again here, apply that, and I'm not going to do the last one, and you'll see why in just a moment. Okay, now, in order to do good surfacing, it's important to be very good at creating the curves that will feed the surfacing options. In this case, I'm going to use a studio surface, which is a very powerful surface, and I'm also going to be doing some bounded planes. But in order to get the surfaces nice and smooth, it's very, very important to be able to create curves that are also nice and smooth. So I'm going to go to the curve command, and I'm going to go to Studio Spline. And with the Studio Spline, I'm going to do a Studio Spline through points, and I'm going to select this point. But when I select it, I've got to hover just right so I select the vertical line segment of this sketch, of this extrusion, and I want to infer a G2 curvature continuity curve. And now I'm going to go to a portion of this surface, the end point of one of these surfaces, and I'm going to hover until it selects. I'm going to pick the end point of that, and I'm also going to apply a G2 curvature continuity on that. So I have a spline. I hit apply. It's so nice that in NX you can stay within the menu with this apply by just saying apply. And now I'm going to select the end point of this. Let's rotate it around a little bit. I'm selecting right there, so that's a G2 curvature continuity on there and a G2 curvature continuity on there. And apply. Very good. I need one up here, so I'm going to do this one, G2, to that one, G2. So those splines are identical. And just for giggles, I'll do the very last one as well. So that's, let's rotate it around, make it a little easier. So I'm going to select this corner. Right. Come on. Right there. Now, yeah, I do have an edge here, so let's do that. G2. Notice I'm off the corner a little bit. And I'll go to there, because I was having trouble finding the corner. Good, and now I'll take this and I'll just move it up to the end. Oh, come on. There we go. So everybody's happy. All the curves should be identical. I'll find that out by taking a side view that is not a perspective view. So let's go into view and turn the perspective off. And the perspective switch is, dagnabbit, it's in the display. I don't see the oh, here it is. Yeah, turn that off. There we go. A little slow on that. Just don't use it often enough. Okay, so I've got all these curves and they're good looking. So now it's time to create the surfaces. So I go to surface, and one of my favorite surfaces is the studio surface. With the studio surface, you can select primary curves, cross curves, and you can edit the continuity. And the continuity of these curves is G2, and that's what I want. Before I do that, however, I am going to hide the original elliptical sketch. So let's click on it and say hide, just like that. Come on, hide. There. Because all I want to see is the actual surfaces now. I don't want to see the curves. So I'm hiding everything. Okay, good. And I'm also going to hide the original sketch. That's this one. So now all I've got is the surfaces and the datum planes. I don't really need the datum planes either, but that's okay. So I'm going to go to Studio Surface, and I'm going to select Single Curve, and I'm going to select that edge. And I'm also now going to select G2 Curvature Continuity, and it automatically selects the surface that it's connected to. I hit the little plus sign here, and I've got to select this surface, but I've got to select it on the same or a corresponding side to the original one. So I'm going to select right there. That's the edge, and I'm also going to do a G2 Curvature Continuity to that. And then I'm going to go to the guide curves. And the guide curves, guide curve number 1 is going to be this curve that I had created. Add new set or add new guide, and there. And say OK. So that should be as beautiful a surface as we can make that will transition from this flat face to that flat face. And then I'm going to do one on the bottom. I'm simply going to do it again. Studio Spline or Studio Surface. Select the edge. Go to the curvature and make sure that that is selected. Good. Do add new section and select this one here and select the face that's associated with it. Okay, so that's ugly looking until I put on the guide curves. So I want to select this is the first guide curve and add new guide curve and select this one. And say apply. Good. We're cooking with gas here. I'm going to make one more surface and then I'll just simply mirror it because it's the same exact thing. So again, last one, so I'll select that one, do the select face, good. Go to add new section, select here, corresponding location of course, select the face, go to the guide strings, select the first guide string, add new guide string, select the second guide string, perfect, say OK. So I've got most of the surfacing done. I can now go to Home, More, Mirror Geometry. I'm going to mirror this geometry and this geometry about the center datum plane. There it is. Say OK. So now I have a nice enclosure, almost, of surfaces. Now I'm going to use the bounded plane. Surface, More, Bounded Plane. Where is it? Right here, Bounded Plane. I'm going to select the single curve. So I do this one, this one, this one, this one, hit apply. I'm going to do this one, this one, this one, that one, hit OK. Go to the sew command. With the sew command, you can select one and then you can select a box around the others. It's good to click on Show Result to make sure that the message comes up solid body created. Very awesome. Okay, so now I've got something that's beautiful, but it still has the sharp corners that are dictated by the corners of the square. And I'm just going to take a moment and hide everything and hold my finger on the Shift key and deselect the thing that I want to keep. There we have it. Okay, so right here you could see that there's a sharp seam, but everything else, the transition from there to there is nice. From there to there is very nice. It's nice and smooth. So finally, I'm going to go to the Blend command. And in the Blend, you can do a G2 curvature curve, or fillet, if you will, or an edge blend. And I'm going to choose a 6 millimeter radius. It's not really a radius because This is going to be a conic, and I'm going to have an RHO of 0.65. That's just my favorite. And I'm going to select all the edges. I select one edge, and then there's a really nice little thing that says select predicted edges. So it's very nice that NX does a good job of predicting the edges. And something's going wrong, it's not working. So now instead of trying to do them all at once, I'm going to do them one by one and see if there's a difference. So I'm going to do the edge blend. It's going to be a G2, curvature continuity, 5, and a 0.65. I'm going to do this one and hit apply. And I'm going to do that one and hit apply. And I'm going to do that one and hit apply. And that one and hit apply. So it's it's not cooperating. Okay, what's wrong? What is wrong? These surfaces should be identical, and I'm not exactly sure why they're not. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to mess around. I am simply going to trim it. And I'm going to say Home, More, Trim Body. Trim Body. I'll select the body, and I'm going to trim it with this datum plane. There we go. And then I'm going to mirror the whole thing. That's a mirror body, mirror geometry rather. Mirror it about this guy. Doink. And it looks beautiful and smooth, and everything is filleted. I'm not exactly sure why that fillet didn't want to work, but instead of wrestling with it, I'm just brute forcing it because I don't want you to get bored out of your minds. Okay, finally, I need a shell in the home in the shell. And it's a 2mm wall thickness. I want to go through there, and I want to go through there, and say okay. So there you have it. That looks pretty good to me. Control B, select it all. Okay, and finally, let's see what it looks like. So I'm going to do a display and a ray traced studio. Let's see how it looks. Like that. And that, my friends, is a beautiful transition from square to oval. The key things to remember are to use the stop at intersection command, so you're only selecting certain portions of the ellipse. The key thing is to apply your G2 continuity curvature, and